In this video, I'm going to walk through my schedule for managing hundreds of properties. Now, this schedule I have used for multiple years now, and I have found it is quite sustainable and almost easy to follow. So, before we get into it, quickly a bit about me. So I manage hundreds of properties on a daily basis with the help of a fantastic team. The key here is it is not just me managing hundreds of properties, I do have a team. I'm born and raised in Emerald, Queensland. I entered the real estate industry at 18 years old with the goal to enter into sales. However, I started in property management and I have never looked back. So, let's look at a bird's eye view of what my calendar looks like for the entire week. So you can see my hours are from 7 to 5 p.m. from Monday to Thursday, then from 7 to 6 p.m. on Friday. This is quite manageable. You're probably getting into work 1.5 hours to 2 hours before everybody else. So you can get that stuff done in the morning and then go on with the rest of the day. So there is no spare time during the day. It is just work and quite constant. I will run through what each of the categories means on Monday, and then you'll be able to see how it looks for the rest of the week. So let's break down the calendar on Monday. Monday, you're back to work, jobs come through, phones ringing, lots of emails, etc., dealing with fires. Fun times. So before all of that happens and begins to happen, I get my deep work done. Now, what I class as deep work is the most important and highest leverage task or tasks that need to be completed. These are problems that I do not want to be disturbed while I'm thinking about. Now, these might be recording new SOP videos for the team, standard operating procedure videos, or dealing with a complex problem. These problems can be difficult tenancies or prepping or planning a QCAT case. Once that's out of the road, I jump into my daily tasks. These tasks are any unavoidable fires, any unavoidable tasks that I need to do that will cause an issue if I don't do them, but are not urgent. So I'll follow up contractors on important jobs, look at obtaining quotes, organising maintenance, anything, door knocking on houses for fence quotes or contacting new people, new contractors to get quotes. It's just anything that needs to be done but is not urgent. And these tasks are written in my physical diary. I like to keep a physical diary, and I find writing it down each day and using a highlighter code, for example, green done, yellow missed one day, red equals missed twice, is a great way to keep me accountable. Then from 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. is emails. Now, these emails are strictly only to clients, tenants, and contractors. These are not internal emails to our team. These are replying to any emails that have come through. On average, I probably have to action 20 to 30 emails per day. So it's important to get these sorted in the morning before the day can get away from you and it's 5 or 6 p.m. and you realize you haven't responded to any emails. Then from 12 p.m. to 12:30 p.m. are Property Me notifications. We use Property Me as our management software, and the team can tag me in anything that I need to know. Now, these tags are not always FYIs. They can also require a reply. For example, the leasing team may let me know that somebody is vacating and I have to start the vacate process. So it's important I check these on a regular basis. Otherwise, something can be missed. Then from 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m., I take a break, take lunch, and read. Now, if it's a great book that I have, I'll read. If it's a great podcast, I'll watch a podcast. I want to make sure I still am doing something productive and helpful to my mind during the break. Then back to business at 1 p.m. These are phone calls. These calls include calling any tenants who are in rental arrears, whether the tenant is in 1 day or 7 days. They are being called because I do not like rental arrears. These are any negotiations that need to happen, any difficult conversations that are best discussed via phone. I could spend half an hour to 1 hour writing out a fantastic email to a client. However, I would rather just talk to them on the phone, get it sorted, move on, and everybody's happy. And I also use it to touch base with clients, just give them occasional calls to make sure everything's okay and just check on how their property portfolio in general is progressing. I always like to hear on their successes and what their plans are for the coming year. Then from 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. is a property inspection. These are exits or entry inspections. I mainly do exit inspections because you do have higher stakes regarding the bond and potentially going to court if it does not work out. So I prefer to do them myself, and you do have to have quite a meticulous eye over them. Then from 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m, I'll respond to any important texts, emails, etc. and plan the next day on my diary. Let's jump to Tuesday. So Tuesday is what I class as a meeting day. It can seem like a write-off sometimes because you feel like you get nothing done, but it is important to stay active and across the entire business and how everything is working. So from 7 to 9 a.m, I do slot in an additional half an hour, so 3 hours total of deep work. This deep work is everything I need to get done for the day. I push it all into that time, so if I don't get anything else done for the day, I know I've still moved forward with the tasks I need to do. Then from 9 to 10, emails. Then from 10 to 12:30 is meetings. These meetings are any team meetings, meetings with new management, with the business development manager, with the sales team, see if anything is coming on board, did any rental appraisals, etc. Then from 1 to 3:30 p.m, these are phone calls. From 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m, emails again. Then respond to texts, finalize a day, respond to any important emails, then go home. So Tuesdays to me go very, very quickly, but getting that deep work in the morning is absolutely essential. For Wednesday looks very, very similar to Monday, except I have an additional half an hour in the morning with the deep work. So we jump to deep work for 3 hours until 9 a.m. Then from 9 to 10:30, these are daily tasks. 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. are the emails. Then 12 p.m., 12:30, notifications, break and read, phone calls, property inspection, then finalize the day and plan the next day. On average, I probably do 2 exit inspections per week. I do these in the afternoon because I do want to make sure that any important tasks are completed for the day in the morning before the inspection in the afternoon. Now you may say, aren't exit inspections extremely important? Well, yes they are, but once you do 100 of them and you do get the reps in and you always are meticulous, it almost becomes like a habit and it's very straightforward. Then let's jump to Thursday. Thursday is quite different to the rest of the week. I am big on being proactive and preventing problems before they happen because I hate to deal with large problems. It causes unnecessary headaches and a lot of time wasted. So from 7 to 11 a.m, I call this a comprehensive weekly audit. This is the audit of all properties under my management. This covers any expiring leases for the next 4 months, covers any overdue maintenance, any important maintenance that hasn't been fixed or problems that we're having around maintenance, any overdue compliance, any upcoming compliance. This includes pool compliance and also smoke alarms. Any upcoming bond increases. So when a tenant rent increases, they'll also have to pay additional bond. So it's important we follow up with them early so they don't fall into bond arrears. Now, if they are in bond arrears, the team follows up on that. Any overdue invoices. For example, the other day we had a invoice come through for $7,000 for replacing quite a few aircons in a property. Now, the rental funds for this would have taken up to 10, 15 weeks to cover this, and that means the contractor is going without their invoice for $7,000 for 10 to 15 weeks. Never a good situation. I want to make sure we also look after our contractors as well as we do our tenants and, most importantly, our clients. So if there are any overdue invoices, I'll contact contractors and the owner, see if we can transfer funds in the week, additional funds into our account so we can get those invoices paid and sorted. Now then I also look up any new managements. Can we advertise them early once the property goes unconditional? Is there anything that I need to know about these tenancies that we're taking over? Are they difficult? Are they fine? And then vacancies, just follow up on any renos that are happening at some of the properties, any vacancies and properties that people are vacating that we haven't filled yet. Then from 11 to 12 p.m. is emails. After this audit, there's normally a backlog of phone calls and emails, so it's important I get those emails sorted then. Then notifications, break and read, phone calls, emails again, finalized day. Then for Friday. Friday is, you note there's no deep work in the morning. By Friday, we have moved everybody in and finalized most of the problems, and we normally move people in Thursday, Friday at the end of the week. So I may have a few tenancy meetings with new tenants, just setting expectations on how we roll. So it's important I do that. So that may also take up an hour of my email time. Then from 9 to 12:30 p.m. I do routine inspections. This normally involves 8 to 10 plus routines. And I always try and beat 12:30 p.m. This is at the latest. Normally I can finish them around 11:30 or 12, but depending on the routines and how many you're doing and the properties, it can take up to 12:30 p.m. Then from 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m, break and read phone calls for 2 hours. Then we do training in the afternoon. We train around any areas that need to be fixed and I have noted, and we plan the next week with the team, make sure we're across any exits that need to be happening, any open homes, any viewings, any entries, any tenants moving in, etc. Then from 5 to 6 p.m, tidy desk. So I come in on Monday and I enjoy coming into work on Monday. Finish off any tasks, throw out any papers that need to be thrown out, scan anything that needs to be scanned, and then go home. Now, for me, the week does not stop on Friday. I believe if you do want to progress at something and keep on growing exponentially, you do need to work on weekends. Now, the key here is there are no day-to-day activities. This means no phone calls, no emails, no doing excessive amount of tasks for a day. Do Not Disturb is on, and I work on the portfolio for a few hours, not in the portfolio. So during this time, I will brainstorm new ideas, any processes that I think would be super helpful, install any new processes that we have agreed to do, and research any specific topics. There may be a legislation change that I need to make sure I'm across, or any obscure legislation that I haven't come across before. I want to make sure I am on top of that. Now, yeah, this is not in the portfolio. It can be classed as not being productive, but I do find it is super valuable. Otherwise, we just keep on having the same problems each week and never improving. Then on Sunday, again, no day-to-day activities, no phone calls or emails. This time is used to block out the calendar for the next week. I will tidy my inbox and rearrange any tasks that need completing for that week. I'll look at, is there anything I can delegate to the team, anything I can completely remove, anything I can move around to free up another day, all of those things. And I also plan my personal and work weekly goals then. I do find having weekly goals in personal and the work life helps have a goal to work towards and progresses your skills and development a lot quicker. So total hours worked per week is around 50 hours, so it's nothing crazy, and it is definitely sustainable. It allows plenty of time for recreational activities. You're at home at 5, so you have 5 to 8 or 9, depending on when you want to go to bed. And you have majority half for Saturday and half for Sunday to still do plenty of fun things. Now, the weekly plan will always differ, but this is an average week for me, and the ideal week is what I aim to have sorted. If it is a very busy week with 6 plus tenants moving in and we got 6 plus tenants moving out, that equals 12 reports. The workload does increase, and this will not look as clean. There will be double ups, there will be doing multiple exits in a day, maybe going to Blackwater, then to Capella in the same day, and quite a busy week. And then you're jumping from most likely 7 a.m. to 6, 7 p.m. at night for a few days a week. But that rarely happens. But when it does in property management, when it rains, it definitely pours. It pours quite significantly. But if we can do as much as we can during these standard periods, it does help make those busy times a lot easier. So that is what my ideal week looks like on a regular basis. Again, this is what works for me, and I have tried and tested numerous items, and one of the game changers for me has actually been writing down everything in my diary and using a code. It helps gamify it almost a little bit, and there's something about writing down that really helps commit it to memory and make sure that nothing is missed.